Hello everyone, my name is Wolfbiome and today I'm going to build a Pokémon and I decided to go for the legendary Firebird Ho-Oh. For this build I'm going to use Voxelsniper and Worldedit to help me, but without further talking, let's jump straight into it. Of course Ho-Oh is a flying Pokémon, but because I don't want the ground to be too flat, I built up a few hills. And I don't know where they will go, but they will add kind of a base for my build. Starting with Ho-Oh, I place these spheres next to each other to create its body. This is giving me a really nice base to build on, so I add its legs, tail and head before I go over to the wings. And of course I also bulk up and smooth out the body. For the wings I use the line command to connect blocks to speed up the building process a bit and to also build up a wireframe for the wings. In hindsight I would have built the pose a bit differently, but because even though it looks somewhat dynamic, it doesn't look like it's really moving. It is though inspired by the official in-game models and I tried my best to accomplish that same style. When I have the first wing so far I simply copy, flip and paste it. Of course I will add more details later. The legs I just another 2 spheres with claws added. When I have those so far I go back to give the head more shape so that it looks nicely round. The beak is actually quite big, staying true to the original, and I also want it to be open so that Ho-Oh looks a bit fierce. Missing now are just the crown on its head, so I built this up with 3 curled feathers and also the tail. After giving it a very distinct shape, I figured I could as well build it later more detailed. All I have to do now, before I start coloring, is to quickly go around and smooth everything out by hand. Finding the right tone of red was actually a huge struggle because they are all a bit too dark, but eventually I figured I had to go with it. Orange isn't an option really either. Then I start with giving color to the head. For the beak I use both gold and yellow wool with some yellow terracotta mixed in for darker areas. The eyes are just white with red surrounded by black wool and blackstone, and I also throw in some red concrete powder for lighter areas. The green band around Ho-Oh's neck is just green wool and terracotta. Once that is finished I go over to make the belly white, and as usual I am using white wool, calcite and snow for this. The legs and claws are blackstone for a nice dark grey. For the wings I first added a few more lines of blocks to get a more dense wireframe, and honestly I struggle quite a bit with it. I fill in the gaps in between and then add Ho-Oh's white and green parts. First I had in mind to add singular feathers, but that seemed a bit tricky in the size, so I went with a more even look. It's looking quite good though. To save myself some more time, again I copy it to the other side. For Ho-Oh's tail I turn what I have into gold blocks before I add more feathers. I used 2 points and connected them with Voxelsniper's line command so that they don't look too straight, and of course I built those feathers in different sizes as well. Then I turn the tips to white, add a darker yellow for shadows and some yellow wool for more texture. And to add a bit more texture and depth to everything I place glass blocks at the body and wings. This is also bringing it all really nicely together. So basically my build is now finished, but I still want to add something around, like particles. So what I did is most likely not the most efficient nor the best way, but it works. So I create one giant sphere and replace it with mostly air and a few glass blocks. Then I go around and thin the glass box out further until I have something looking like this. So let's have a look at the finished build. I also added a few trees around, but nothing complicated. I hope you enjoyed this build, thanks very much for watching and until the next time, goodbye!